This is Pretzi speaking, and welcome to this Homebrew Lore episode. Today we will be looking at a unique group indeed, the Death Guard Vector known as the Brotherhood of Rust. As before, we'll be seeing the models, some custom lore, and how it has affected the build of the army and the models themselves. Starting off with quantity over quality are the poxwalkers. I painted this up to represent an entire hazmat crew that was converted. Some of them have redder skin than others to show that they were the first ones infected, and as such, are far more rotten than the rest. Death Guard would be Death Guard without Plague Marines and Blood Lord Terminators. The focus on heavy weaponry and absurd melee that these guys have provide a thematic element. They pollute the air and ground just by walking on them, which is why they have puddles of nargles throughout around them. This was an army that I got second-handed, partially, which is why some improvisation had to be done when building and painting. For example, this guy came off with a bit of his old base when I rebased, and he lost a spike during stripping, which is why I put grading and decoration to hide the bit of plastic, and this toe skull as a trophy kill. This was the first Terminator I built and painted. I like to call him Smiley. You can see why. Still in the Death Guard vibe here, but these guys have a lot more character than their underlings. However, my favorite amongst the bunch has to be the Biologist Putrifier, who lugs around jars of poison and sever heads that make killing him a possibly worse decision than letting him live. I converted his needle pistol to a bolter after seeing that he already has a needle on his head, and what screams Norgle more than head bashing this thing into your enemy. This was the Bloodlord Terminator that came with the starter set that I got second hand, and as such I also needed to replace parts of him. This totem pole was acquired already painted from a trade, so I just stuck it in there. And this guy, I like to call him the Bellhop. To end on a big note as usual, this is the for now solitary Bloodthorn of the group. It came with the starter. I tried blending both the color schemes of the Plague Marines for the armor and the Poxwalker skin to provide a bridge between them, and thematically to have it provide heavier support for either. Here's a few models currently waiting for a finished paint job and the paints I used to paint this army. Poxwalkers are relatively easy to paint with just Celestial Grey all over the skin, Lead Belcher on the weapon, Ushapti Bone on the bone, and for the pants, a thin down layer of Game Effects Rust. I know this is a little bit unpractical, but it is to differentiate both oranges, the ones that are on the Poxwalkers and the ones that are on the Plague Marines. For the rotten skin effect, I just use several coats of Reichland Flesh Sheet. Depending on the age of the Poxwalker, it's either 2 or 3 coats. Currently, however, painting and shading Plague Marines is a little bit halted, since I'm low on Rockert Flesh and Agrex Earthshade, which are the two main colors of the army. And I'll have to work around the extinction of Gilliman Blue once this pot runs out. As a side note, this army is a bit of an exception to my common rules, as I apply the Warblock Bronze to the metallic rims of the armor after I've applied the Aggressor Sheath. This is because I found that after applying the shade it practically looks black and matte, which makes applying it kinda useless. Although relatively few in number, the Plague Marines of the Brotherhood of Rust believe unflinchingly that everything in the universe must serve the whims of Nurgle or be destroyed. They travel across the galaxy in a grotesque mockery of the Knights of Ancient Terra, seeking to convert as many civilians as they can before moving on. To achieve this, they will hold sermons, which in reality are nothing less than sieges, during which they will infect the populace using blight grenades, launchers, and even have blood drones douse entire hub blocks in pathogenic sludge in order to create vast hordes of poxwalkers. The Brotherhood has begun activities on Alcanos Prime, although they were inadvertently responsible for triggering a Tyranid invasion when a hub block rose up in arms after supposedly being converted. The insurgents later revealed to be resistant to chaotic corruption due to their nature as gene stealer cults, already having summoned their progenitors as a response to the siege.